Hey guys, how are we all doing? I thought I would do another video about being bold today, as to be honest, those have been the videos of mine that have done the best in terms of views. They're videos that I really enjoy making because it's a subject that I personally have grappled with a lot, the idea of going bald as a young man. I started going bald when I was 20 and still at university. You'll see at the moment, I've actually got a little bit grown back because I left my head shaver at my flat and I've gone back to my home with my family for a week. And it's just grown back, this horrible, weird, patchy amount of hair that I've got left when it grows out like this. So you're gonna have to deal with a partially bald me for this video. Today we're gonna talk about shortly after the first time I ever shaved my hair off, and from there, the first time I got laid, because those two things were heavily intertwined for me when it came to the decision of shaving my hair and what to do with my hair in my 20s. There was a long-running idea I had in my head due to the fact that I went bald so young that I basically had a ticking time bomb situation where I could only date and get laid as much as I wanted, have a great sex life until the day I went too bald for it to look good anymore, and then I would just have no sex life. And this is really funny because I did a video called Young Bold Duma, which is in two parts, about how a guy was talking about his sex life was over because he lost his hair. And to be honest, that was how I used to think. I used to think that way. And this is the story which kind of blew that paradigm out of the water. So I needed to put a little bit of background to start with. I was in Australia, having previously been in America. And in America, I had my heart broken by a girl. It's a long story in itself. I don't know if I'll ever really go into it on this channel, but this was probably the only girl I've ever had that level of feeling for. Had broken my heart about a month before this story starts. I was in America, I switched over to Australia, I was trying to keep my traveling going. In Australia, you can get a work visa and live there for 2 years. So that was my plan. I got to Sydney and I started moping around in the hostels because I was still heartbroken. I still didn't know what I was going to do. I think I was there for about 3 weeks. And then I made the decision to go to a farm because in Australia, you can go and do farm work and extend your visa. So I went and did 3 months of farm work. Once I landed on the farm, I realized I was going to be working in pretty serious heat for the whole summer. The heat in Australia can get up to 40 plus. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, sorry, Americans. Because I have diffuse thinning or whatever they call it. So my hair loss started here and was like, this just got thinner and thinner all over. Any amount of sweat, my head the hair is just like completely see-through. I might as well have not had hair at all. I was 25 and this was like the peak of like how bad my hair looked basically before I started shaving it off. And so I made the decision to I think it was after like 2 days of working on the farm, I just got a razor and shaved it off with the guard, with no guard even. So it was down to a 0 or whatever. And that was interesting, you know? I had no hair anymore. It was almost entirely over practicality's sake, and I was not even thinking about girls because I was heartbroken. You know, I've already said this already. I was moping around. I wasn't trying. So what the hell was the point in looking good at all? I grew out an incredibly long, horrible-looking ginger beard, and I shaved my hair off. I'd say it took like almost a month to adapt to seeing myself bald. I don't think it was something I got used to quickly. There's like, if you've always had hair and then you suddenly shave it off and see your head shape, it is quite weird. You have a lot more head here than you realized. I don't know if that works with everyone unless they've got a different head shape to me, but I just didn't realize how much head I had. Like, you know what I mean? It just keeps on going back and back. And I guess like even with my bad hairline, even though I thought I was going so bald you could see my scalp, it wasn't obvious like what my head looked like until I did shave it all off. So you will have a little period when for the first time you ever shave your hair off, where you just have to get used to it. The other thing you have to get used to is going outside, walking around and being in the public in front of other people bald, because you're gonna suddenly look different to a lot of people. Fortunately, I was in the farming area where I didn't know anyone, so I didn't have to go up to any people who knew me for ages and be like, yo, look at my dome, you know? But I did have to get used to being called that bald guy over there, which did happen a couple of times. Some guy didn't know my name that we went drinking with, and he was talking to someone else, and he was like, oh yeah, the bald guy. And I just had to get used to this new idea that I was the bald guy in the group. So let's get on to the girls. So after a while of being heartbroken, we're talking this literally took like 3 months to get over. I was not in a good place. I started being interested in girls again, but I had built up this idea forever that I could not get girls because I was bald. And this was like in the back of my head, it was like, you're bold, they're not going to be interested. To make matters worse, the farm hostel was mostly like young girls. We're talking like 18 to 22. And like that was even more like, I thought, okay, if I'm bold, I might be able to occasionally get a girl who's like over 25, but I'll never be attracted to young girls ever again. So on New Year's Eve, there was this German girl I've been friendly with for a few weeks. I've been attracted to her, but I didn't think there was much of a chance. Basically, this was before I was ever very serious with dating, self improvement, anything like that. I didn't know what I was doing. I know I was like 25, but like age has got nothing on experience. You know what I mean? So I had no idea what I was doing dating wise, how to handle myself with a girl. I didn't have the confidence of a lot of experience. There's a number of things I just did stupidly wrong, but still on New Year's Eve, I ended up making out with this girl and we ended up skinny dipping, like making out topless in the water. As I said, I didn't know what I was doing. So from there, actually taking it to a point where we could have had sex turned into something too much of a bridge for me to cross, it seems. And then, I don't know, the next few days, I just pussied out of making a move during the daytime. I really don't know why I messed this up because I did like her and I know she liked me. But this was like the first crack in this idea that I couldn't get laid as a bold guy. Because obviously this was a young, attractive girl who was interested in me. Anyway, I left farm after 3 months and I hadn't gone anywhere except with this one girl. So still in the back of my head, still convinced that this bold look wasn't going to work out from a girl's perspective. And then I get to this hostel in Brisbane and like with most of my times in hostels, I got pretty good at making friends really quickly, getting a group of us so we can all like go out in the evenings or have fun in the hostel bar kind of area, usually the smoking area. And I don't know what it was. You know when it's just kind of like on, like this probably the second I met this chick, there was just like the chemistry and vibe. And she was absolutely gorgeous. She was closer to my age. She was 25 as well. But she was stunning. She had the most beautiful eyes. She was Belgian. We got on really well. We were into the same kind of music. I ended up pitching to her and a couple of others that we go to these waterfalls during one of the daytimes, like the day I met her. And we just like, we got on so well. We were like playing around in the water again. Weird thing about Australia, you end up skinny dipping with a lot of people. We weren't skinny dipping, we were just jumping into off waterfalls, like 10 meters up. It was awesome. And yeah, that night we got back and like we ended up alone, like in my car, and she just like jumped on me. And we didn't end up having sex. What I ended up doing was getting a private hostel room, and the next day we ended up making it happen. And what I realized was, although I'd been like painfully insecure about my hair, about the fact that I was now bald, when a girl likes you, it does not matter at all. Like what you think about how you look. It just doesn't. Like, and you will not have that insecurity in the back of your head when you're in bed with them. It's just like, it's just not how like once it's gone beyond a certain point, you just forget about that insecurity. And this was really fucking good for me, like in terms of my confidence and experiencing that I wasn't a lost cause because I'd lost my hair. That was huge. And maybe to other people this is going to sound ridiculous, but it really, when something is such built up as such a huge insecurity, and we're talking I built this up for like 5 years, and I convinced myself that I was never going to get laid again after I lost it, and then I made this decision to actually shave it off, and basically just accepted I was in a heartbroken, pitiful state, and I just accepted it was the end for my dating life. I shaved my hair off, and lo and behold, wasn't the end of my dating life. It just wasn't. There was more about me than just my hair. And yeah, I've done really, really well. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've done really, really well in the last 2-3 years. It's been the best period of my dating life ever. And I've done it with a shaved head. I do things like wear hats. I do alter my style to like, you know, to accentuate what I have rather than what I don't have. But just my hair has just not been a limiting factor at all. It just hasn't. And I think more guys should, even though they lost their hair, they should still be trying. You shouldn't be a doomer about it. That was my whole problem with that doomer video. Like, it's just stop being a defeatist when you actually haven't gone out and tried. It's more your insecurity than it is your physical appearance. All right. If you guys want some resources about like how to handle your dating, there's this dating channel called Bold Man Dating, and I'm going to link him down below. It's run by my friend Andy. He also owns killyourinaloser.com, where he has a whole treasure trove of advice around mostly online dating, but a lot of other stuff to do with like approaching as well. So go and check that out. But until next time, guys, Peace out.